Welcome, wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for fans, and we appreciate you joining us for episode 15. I am your host, representing the old school wrestling fan, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcasts, Andy.
I'm also your host, the no-selling wrestling indie fan, Jeremy.
All right, guys, I'm fired up, ready for a good show today. Today we're going to be covering Hook's debut, Bobby Lashley getting added to the WWE title match at Day 1, AEW Dynamite, and more. But first, right now, like and subscribe to the PW Fan on YouTube, where we have full episodes available. And if you can, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/the PW Fan to get one of our t-shirts. All right, guys, let's start the show. Andy, you're up.
Alrighty, so past SmackDown, the opening segment was, it consisted of Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman. And I wanted to talk about this segment because I thought it kind of set up things in the future. But so Sami Zayn's out there in a wheelchair, Paul Heyman's out there on the mic, and Brock is out there in overalls. Which is the first time we've seen that look before.
I liked overall Brock. It just made
changing
sense.
it up. Yeah, I mean everyone knows he's a farm boy. So, so Brock's like kind of either playing nice or pretending to be nice to Sami Zayn, inviting him to come hunting up in Saskatchewan.
Go moose hunting.
And basically, yeah, he goes on some moose, and Sami's like, "Well, I'm a vegetarian, so or vegan, actually." And so he's kind of like, like I said, being nice. And Paul Heyman's in the ring, basically says, where's the Brock that he knew? He's like, you're inviting Sami to come hunting. It's like, this isn't the Brock that he advocated for.
Oh, you're leaving out the best line of the whole thing.
Switch and
he said, "Oh my God, tell me what I'm looking at here." I think I've been at the dispensary too long, and the edibles are kicking in.
Yeah, that's how he started it off.
It was great. Heyman's the man.
That was so good. So then Heyman, in a way, kind of flips a switch in Brock, saying that he's the most likely to beat Roman, and then does this whole spiel that he used to do with Brock, talking about the reigning, defending, and that starts getting Brock jacked up, and Brock's bouncing around in the ring, and then he takes out the nurses that are in there with Sami Zayn, just throws them around like they're rag dolls, and then he kicks Sami Zayn in the chest. The wheelchair falls over. Sami falls out of it. And then F5's Sami Zayn, who's also wearing a boot and a neck brace at the time. So it seems like Paul Heyman kind of awakened the beast again a little bit.
It was very reminiscent of the Andy. I'm sure Jeremy remembers too. What did you guys immediately think of Zach Gowen in the wheelchair and Brock like killing him? Because that's what my brain immediately went to. It was kind of a callback to that.
Poor Zach Gowen. He F5'd that dude's leg into a pole.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then he threw him down the steps.
So when I saw this segment, it kind of made me think that Paul Heyman's going back to Brock's side a little bit. Because afterwards, Kayla Braxton goes up to Brock backstage and asks him the question. I forget what the question was, but he ends up, and he said it before, but he ends up saying, "Why don't you ask my advocate, Paul Heyman?" So just solidifying that whole idea. But yeah, what you guys think of this segment?
I love these segments with Brock. Just everything with Brock right now is awesome. And when Heyman was like, "What am I looking at right now?" I'm like, "This is the best version of Brock right now. I don't want him to go back."
He doesn't need Paul Heyman. He does not need him as a mouthpiece.
He does not.
You know what the worst version of Brock was? The Brock
Don't
Party.
say Boombox Brock, because I like Boombox Brock.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah, Brock Party was great.
No.
I like that one. That was hilarious.
Oh my God. You guys are the problem.
That was so funny. But when you were talking about this, Andy, I just kept thinking, I was like, the segments with like Heyman and Brock, and even with Reigns right now, they feel like totally different shows than anything else on WWE right now.
I agree.
Because not only because it's really good right now, but just it's like everything else is like, someone else would say mid, or even like not great.
There's nothing else on the level of these segments.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, really, they are the reason that you tune into these shows. Anytime that I've been watching WWE product, it's clear the best part of the show is Roman, Paul Heyman. Anytime Brock Lesnar shows up, and you know what? To be fair though, Sami Zayn is fun too when he's kind of in the mix. He's really good on the mic. Kevin Owens as well. But no, Reigns, Brock, and Heyman. That's the best part of the show. That's the whole reason why you watch.
Well, we all know, Reigns is the champ of champions right now in WWE, and so
the champ of champions.
So his segments, they seem to be firing on all cylinders when it comes to the writing, at least.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Heyman has a part in that.
Hey, just real
Not
quick,
for being a writer, but for being, throwing his 2 cents.
Do you guys remember when God saved Roman Reigns from the demon, and then just nothing ever happened with that afterwards?
I tried to push that out of my mind that it happened.
Yeah, thanks. I completely forgot. I'm sure the people listening also forgot.
I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
So Roman is God's champion, right?
Yes.
You guys know that?
I thought that was Miro. But yeah, so anything else you guys wanted to say about the Brock stuff with Paul?
I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like they have like the most lenient way of like, it's not written out like scripted wise compared to everyone else. So I think that's why it's probably maybe better than other people.
Also, sarcastic Brock is great. Just so the only other thing I wanted to talk about from SmackDown was Xia Li finally made her debut. If you've been watching SmackDown, Naomi's been like feuding with Sonya Deville, trying to get a match with her. And so this week, she actually came out to the ring dressed in gear, but stopped at the ring and said that she was going to wrestle Shayna Baszler. Well, Naomi ended up beating Shayna Baszler, but then also Natalya comes out, and I believe they start going after, including Sonya Deville also goes after Naomi, and then Xia Li comes out to be like the protector kind of thing, is how her video packages have built her up to be. But she came out, did a couple moves. Naomi and her were the last women standing. With only Sonya Deville left in the ring, they took her out. But I don't know. I felt like it was kind of a lackluster debut. I would have rather just seen her have a good one-on-one match with someone. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I think
what they do with
might
her.
have to learn how to debut people from AEW from this recent Rampage.
Oh, well, we will talk about
Yeah, I was
that.
gonna say.
Well, we're actually
We'll
going
get
to talk
there.
about that right now. So, yeah. If WWE can learn how
It's
to
an
do
easy
a
transition.
little bit of a debut. Yeah, it's very easy, yeah. So, yeah, this Rampage, the only thing I wanted to talk about was Taz finally sent Hook.
Sent Hook, not send Hook anymore.
No,
Finally
Hook
sent
has
him.
been sent. He made his debut against Fuego del Sol. I loved it. I think everyone else loved it, or at least the majority of fans, from what I could see online. They were all about Hook.
Dude, he's a
comes
mini
out
Taz.
it sounded like, yeah, like he comes out, his whole demeanor, he's just walking to the ring,
Great
just
looking
looking
facial
serious,
expressions.
ready to fight kind of thing. When he gets in there, yep, Fuego del Sol's already in there. He gets into the ring, he goes to the corner, and he just turns around, doesn't even face Fuego. So I love that, just the little bits and pieces that they added to his character. Then he gets in the ring, and he's good. He looks like a natural in there. It was also like mentioned on the mic, like he did not seem tired at all or out of breath. His conditioning was ridiculous.
He's a
But
stud.
I thought
He's
it was
young.
a really strong debut.
Yeah.
Dude's gonna be a
He's
star.
22.
He will
Yeah,
be a
22 years
star
old.
for sure.
They're crazy.
Well, it's just funny. Like we all hated him, you know, when he was just like
Well, it was
beating
funny
people
at
up
first.
with Team Taz.
Yeah. It was kind of ironic, like send Hook because they're never going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Hook's been freaking sent, guys.
Yeah, dude.
Taz said, "You
think
wanted me to
about-
send Hook? Well, I've sent him."
Yeah, I love that. Think about Hook in 4 years from now. How good he'll be if he sticks with it.
Oh, he's a future champion. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Dude,
Wait, is he one of the pillars now?
here's the
Add him
thing,
on.
like
He will be a pillar eventually.
he has they have a great foundation of future talent. Like they're young. I hate saying this, but their young talent is just awesome. I mean, they have storylines and stars going forward for the next they're like Marvel right now. They got they got so many options, so many years worth of stuff that they could do. They just have a great young roster of. I mean, between MJF, honestly, I thought Jungle Boy was going to be a little bit more of a breakout star, but it just goes to show how important a promo is, you know?
He was for a little bit, but I feel like we
Yeah.
haven't seen that much of him lately.
But here's the thing with Hook, I don't want to know if he can talk or not. Just don't talk. I like him exactly how he is. You know what I mean? Just come out, whip on somebody, roll out.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When he got finished his match, he just rolled out and just walked back
Yep.
up the ramp.
I'm like, yeah,
Same
don't even
demeanor.
talk. Just beat some ass.
All business. It was all
Right.
business. He just came in, got the job done, rolled out.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is he's finally going to cut a promo and he's going to be like, I'm here to fight, and it's going to ruin everything. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I have no idea how he sounds.
Yeah.
It's just going to ruin everything.
And his theme song is perfect too.
Yeah.
Well, funny part about that is, that's so Dexter Loomis from NXT used to be an Impact, and that's actually kind of how he sounds. And so when I saw
right.
that video and then I saw him in NXT, I was like, I get why they don't have him talk. It makes sense.
Well, that's how
The only
people
thing
used
he's
to
ever
look at
said was,
Brock,
"I
too.
do."
But people used to think that Brock was going to have a more intimidating voice, and he's like, Goldberg. It's a lot different than what you would picture, but I think now he's, like you said, say all the
It's
time.
not intense like Goldberg or anything.
No,
It's higher pitch.
He's funny enough on his own, or he doesn't even need. I like the Heyman Brock combo, but this run of Brock has been fun. I'm getting back onto Brock, but because we were talking about promos. But anyway, let's keep it going.
Yeah, so I expect to see big things from Hook over the years. It's
Hook's
he's
great.
just getting started.
Yeah.
But fans seem to really like him. So we'll just see how it goes. How the rest, or what, I'm curious to see what matches actually he ends up having.
Well, kind of skipping ahead, I guess, but on this Dynamite that we're going to talk about, they actually announced his next match on the Christmas Eve Rampage. So
Maybe I missed that part. Okay,
Did
we'll have to
you-
talk about it once we.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Get
it. But
into it,
I
but-
didn't. I don't think I recalled, so I'm excited to hear who it is against.
Yeah, I know they announced a couple of things, and we'll talk about that. But I don't remember the Hook one. But moving on, we had Raw this past Monday, and two things I wanted to talk about. There was another Miz TV segment, and his guest was Maurice. But of course, Edge has to come out, and so they had another good back and forth promo. Miz ends up throwing champagne in Edge's face. Edge goes after the Miz, but Miz throws Maurice in front of him. And then Miz ends up doing the skull-crushing finale to Edge. Maurice gets pissed at Miz for using her as a shield and slaps him in the face and walks out the ring. But reason why I want to talk about it is I just thought the promo work was good as usual between the two of them. Did you guys see it? What you guys think?
I
They're
saw
set
it.
up for day one, so it's just going to be Edge versus Miz.
I saw it. I mean, here's the whole thing about this program for me, all right? And I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but to me, the whole thing's just fine. You know, it's just like, okay, yeah, I mean, good promo work, it's fine, but I don't know. When I pictured Edge's comeback, I pictured some different stuff. You know, more of the Rollins stuff is what I pictured. You know, like having these dream matches like Edge and AJ Styles, or like, so like it's just
AJ Styles. Yeah.
He's had like a ton of Randy Orton matches, which is fine. He had the Seth stuff, and then now he's doing the stuff with the Miz, and it's like all fine. You know, I just thought it was going to be a little bit of a different run. You know, it's just I'm sure like are they going to do the match between Beth and is it going to be Beth and Edge versus Maurice and Miz? Do you think this is where they're going to go with that?
Could be later, but right now it's scheduled for just Edge and Miz at day one.
Right. Yeah, it just seems like kind of like
you never know.
And I've been vocal on the show that I like the Miz. It's just like, I don't know, when I put Edge, I guess, in a certain tier of program. Like, I picture him having a program with Brock. I mean, God, that's not fair either. You know, I got to be honest. Because he did have the run with Roman too. So yeah, he's done some stuff. I just was hoping that we'd get that AJ feud in eventually.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were hoping for that. I can see why people are disappointed with The Miz, because he doesn't, as much as he's been in main events, he doesn't seem like he's up in the scale of like an Edge.
I don't know why I feel that way about him too.
Think, though, because
it's not like he does anything wrong. Yeah. He's like a good wrestler, and like he's good on the mic. I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe you just had in your head picture a different run for Edge this time around.
Yeah.
But, you know, you think about it, there's not very many heels on Raw, I feel like, right now. I mean, half of them are in this title picture, you know, coming up.
And I guess you can only get,
you have AJ, but AJ's...
Well, you can only get murdered by the heel, like, so many times. Like, Randy, like, killed him with a concerto, and then, like, Roman, like, destroyed him. So it's like, murdered. You can only, like, have the heel, like kill you, like, so many... Like, I guess maybe he needs a different kind of feud, you know, like, something that's not his, like, life and death situation.
I think the story's probably easy to tell. I mean, because they both have they were both in the company before, and so Miz can talk about and actually, you know, because he was there for the old Edge, and so it kind of writes itself a little bit.
Look at us today trying to talk about AEW, and for once we keep coming back to WWE. What does that say? Are they doing something right? I don't know.
So we'll see. I mean, day one seems like it's gonna be all right for right now. There's the title match I think will be good. We got this match. They might have set up Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch again. I'm not sure. I still think she's the only one feuding with her.
That seems to be pretty good.
Yeah. But so the only other thing I wanted to talk about with Raw is, so originally the WWE title match for day one was set to be Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Big E. This week, after the week before when Lashley had come out and attacked everyone, this week Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce told Bobby that if he beats Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Big E all in one night, he gets added to the match. Well, he did. My whole thing is, this dude can do that, and then you have your champion. Like, what does that tell you about your champion? I've said it before. The way they've booked Big E, I mean, I think his title run is over. I think they did what they did, like they did with Kofi. You know, people loved him, and they're like, okay, it's time to slowly, you know, get the belt off of you. I don't see him retaining at day one.
Yeah, it's tough to argue with that, too, because you've seen it happen before.
Yeah,
like, we even talked about when, like, Punk was champion, that they did the same thing.
Which is fine. I don't want Bobby to win, though.
Yeah.
I kind of want Rollins to win.
I do. I want to go with Rollins, too. I feel like
Owens has re-signed a multi-year deal, so I'd be fine with him winning again. I liked him as champion before when he was with Jericho all the time. but I don't see Big E winning.
Yeah.
They did something wrong over the years where the two belts like doesn't work anymore. Like I used to look at, like right now I'm looking at the undisputed like Eddie Guerrero title on my shelf, and then over here I got the big gold world heavyweight. So when I was a kid, and I'm sure you guys remember, I used to
Those
look
felt
at
equal to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, I would look at Triple H on the one show and maybe Brock or Taker on the other show, and to me, they felt equal. Like they were both, like they were two different champions on two for different shows, but it felt like I didn't look at one as like the real champion, and the other guy was just like kind of like the other guy, filling in. That didn't start happening for me until I'm trying to think of like, well, okay, this might be a little bit of a hot take, and I don't mean it with disrespect, but I think for me, the first time I remember thinking the championships weren't equal is when, and I don't think it has anything to do with size, I really don't, is when Ray won the world heavyweight. I remember I started being like, like I kind of look at like like the other guy as like more the champion, and then there's like been like other people along the way, like Jack Swagger won the world heavyweight title, and then I like Dolph, but he won it for a night. So there was like things that they did where I was like, I don't know. They kind of like took the importance off of it, and now they got this Universal Championship, this WWE Championship, and to me it's kind of like they always put whatever show, whether that's Raw or SmackDown. SmackDown seems to be the new baby now that Fox is involved. It's like the main guy always goes on the show where all the people are watching, and then they have like this other guy that they give the belt to, but then it doesn't really mean anything. And I don't mean that in like a mean way. I just mean like I don't remember it the same way. Like if someone said, who doesn't know anything about wrestling or hasn't watched in a long time, said, "Oh, who's the wrestling champion right now?" I'd say Roman Reigns. That would be the person that came to mind. Like, wouldn't you say, you're not going to say Big E?
Well, Dad asked me who the champion was, and I said Roman Reigns.
Right.
That was my exact
There
answer.
you go.
Right.
I didn't say the other guy. I didn't say Big E. I said Roman.
But that's not Big E's fault, though. Like,
But
I don't know what they did wrong. I just think they make the other stuff so important.
I think it comes down to one of those things, though. I think it comes down to one of those things where, I mean, it's the classic line of, the superstar makes the belt, not the belt doesn't make the superstar. Because I remember when AJ was WWE champion, I forget who the other champion was at the time, but, to me, AJ felt like the champion at that time.
I agree.
And it could have been Roman or Brock. Even it was probably Brock on the other show. But
I mean, that's the mentality of the guy makes the title, and the title doesn't make the guy. So it's just two different schools of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that covers Raw. Do you guys want to get into Dynamite?
Well, what do you guys think about Kevin Owens re-signing?
Oh.
Because he's kind of like the only
the guy's
one
a a family man. I think he did what was best for his
Yeah.
family.
As
like 90% of the people who are leaving right now are done.
As someone who's married and also a father, sometimes you have to put your artistic pride aside to take care of for your family. Like, if an opportunity is good enough, it can't just be. Again, I'm a music guy, so I use music references. You might be a talented musician, and you might want to make this really weird experimental rock that you think is great, but then if somebody came to you and said, "I'll give you $2 million to play in my generic rock band, all you have to do is show up," and it's like, man, it's hard to turn that type of thing down when you have a family to take care of, so I think good for him. He had to do what was right for him.
I'd read that his contract was, so it's a multi-year deal, and I believe it's for like $2 to $3 million, something like that.
A year.
Yeah. And, maybe he didn't think that AEW could match that, which it'd be
Well, it
hard
sounded
to.
like they offered him something, but WWE came back with like this huge offer. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that
think
makes sense
so.
to go with that.
You know, if they can't match that, or go higher, being a family man, he probably was just like, yeah, I'll stay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Even though he would have an easier schedule at AEW and could be home more.
That's what I was thinking.
not saying that because clearly, like other wrestlers and other companies are very wealthy and make tons of money, but I mean, he has his son. He might have more than one child. I don't know, and he's probably like, all right, I can pay for college. I could help them buy a house. I could buy my mom a house. You know, like there's things that like you like think about like. So I think, he had to do what felt right for him, and if that's making sure his family is like number one, that's cool.
All right, let's get into Dynamite. This was the Winter is Coming special. So, yeah, I'm just going to go right into it.
Also
Opening
known
match.
as the Hangman and Danielson special.
Yeah. So the opening match was our AEW World Championship match. It was Hangman Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson. They said it was an hour long. It was a little bit more because I watched it after the fact.
Did you time it?
The fact, I just know it was at like an hour and 6, or hour to 10, like somewhere in between there, because they do have the beginning with entrances and all that and painting to the crowd. So, but it was definitely over an hour long. Match was freaking awesome. There's a reason why Hangman's the champion and that Danielson's in that title picture. But this match went a little over an hour. They said it was an hour, but because it went to an hour draw. Let's just say that. But what a crazy TV match. How would you guys I was wondering how you all felt. How would you guys compare to like the Kenny Omega Bryan Danielson draw?
I felt like that one. I don't know. I felt like that one was probably better, but this one was still. It was like, to me, it's like 1A, 1B really, because they're both really good.
Yeah, I
It
gotta
just
say,
took me by surprise because I didn't think they were gonna do a 60-minute TV show or TV wrestling match.
I prefer. I mean, they were both amazing. I liked a tad more the Kenny match because it literally was like, holy crap! Like, is this really happening? That was like a pinch me type of moment. Like where this had build. So
That's
it was
what I was
like
thinking. Maybe you guys thought that was more of a dream match.
One was like, I can't believe this is really happening like right now. This is crazy. And then they also delivered like above and beyond expectations. And then this one had like the slow build and then it also delivered. So I just think it's two different things, but the magic of the dream match is something that I don't know if it will ever. I can't think of any other guys unless AJ Styles or Roman Reigns decides to randomly show up in AEW. I can't think of how we're gonna get another moment like that. You know what I mean?
AJ versus Kenny would do it for me.
Right. That would be the next
I
one.
mean, I also want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever they do the Danielson Punk match, that's going to be another
Well,
one
yeah.
where it's like
That'll
it's
be a
gonna
big
feel
one. Yeah.
It's just different. It's going to be different than their matches in WWE because it's kind of like, first of all, the fans are going to be with it because they know what's up, and they're going to do like full force pro wrestling, where I feel like sometimes in WWE you got to throw in, like when they were feuding before, it was like AJ Lee was like in love with both of them. Like, I just think it's going to be a different feel all around when we finally get there.
I felt like this match, I mean, not that Hangman really needed it, but it really showed that he could really go.
Oh yeah.
And and that, not that we knew he wasn't already like a really good wrestler, but I don't think I've ever seen him do like an hour-long match before, like singles match.
Yeah. I can't remember an hour-long TV match. When was like the last one?
Yeah, no. Tim would bring it back to like a Shawn
Yeah.
Michaels match that he had on TV. I forget. Do you know what I'm talking about, Tim? Didn't he have like
The
an hour-long
last-
match? before a little bit
the
before he
last
retired?
the last hour long match I remember, and someone's gonna be like, oh, they've done it since then, but the last one from actually being an Iron Man match, it was Brock versus Kurt on like a SmackDown in like, I don't know,
Awesome
2003. Yeah,
Great-
that's like the
great
last
match.
time I remember like. But this wasn't even an Iron Man match. This was old school pro wrestling, hour to a like Ric Flair used to say. We used to wrestle to a hour time limit draw every night. You know, that kind of thing. Like this was like just old school.
See, I thought there was a match Shawn Michaels had because Jericho watched it during his time off and it made him want to come back. If you remember.
Oh, it was Oh well. Oh God, I
him
want
and
to say
Michaels and Cena, I think.
either Michaels and Cena. And
Yeah,
he had a
I think
great
it
match
was.
with Shelton Benjamin on Raw. There were some good ones.
Yeah, I think it was the Michaels Cena match, and it made Jericho, he said, want to come back to.
Triple H
wrestling
and
match
Shawn
again.
Michaels wrestled in a Hell in a Cell for like 50 minutes. Like it wasn't the full hour, but it was.
Kevin Nash as the special guest referee.
No. This is at Bad Blood it was a Bad Blood 04. It was like an hour long match. Kevin Nash refereed a different one. He refereed Mick.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Mick Foley refereed Kevin Nash versus Triple H in the Hell in a Cell. That's what you're
Okay,
thinking.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad this match didn't have any of that because I love when they do that, the old school, just two guys going at it, and it was an hour long.
Well, that's my
I feel like
favorite
they
type
told
of
a really
wrestling.
good story too. It's in like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I felt like it showed that, like you said, Andy, that Hangman can hang with the top talent, and I think it just kind of proved it in this match. Really, I had no problem with the draw either.
No, I mean, the fans are chanting 1 more minute, but,
Yeah.
you know, that outcome, both men still, they weren't hurt by it at all, you know.
Yeah, and I'm glad they ended it as in
It also
like,
sets up
Hangman was
another
about to
one.
win.
Sets up another match between them. So, and I'm sure that's, going to be down the road, but
Yeah, well, I think
almost
Tony
like it's
Khan just
unfinished
actually-
business.
Yeah, Tony Khan actually just said, like, yeah, they're not done yet, and I think it's, might be at the Battle of the Belts, he said, which is, like, the first or second week of January.
Is that when they're doing the Owen Hart tournament?
I can't remember. I think it's
Okay.
somewhere around that time.
Okay. So that was the opening match. Then we had a backstage segment with Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and the Young Bucks, and they say that next week he's gonna have the best Christmas present ever for them.
Kyle O'Reilly?
That's where my head went. But I was thinking about like WWE's like no compete clause. And
But he just let it he let the contract run out. He didn't get released.
Oh,
That's why
yes. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
he could just jump ship if he wanted to.
Yeah.
That's kind of why Adam Cole was able to just go over.
Yeah, like
Right
4
away,
nights
okay.
after.
Okay.
They got to get Adam Cole away from the
and
Young
I think
Bucks.
Kyle O'Reilly tweeted something out. O'Reilly
Yeah,
tweeted
he
something
teased it.
out, kind of teasing. So
Yeah.
we shall see. But so after that, we had a match, which I thought was really random, but it was Wardlow versus Matt Seidel. He made very quick work of him. He basically just destroyed.
I'm kind of feeling
Matt Seidel.
Wardlow a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was
all right, Wardlow, I'm with it.
Yeah, they're getting him over as a babyface.
Yeah,
They're-
I was like, all right.
It feels like to
Aight,
me
boo.
they're doing what they did with Batista and Triple H years ago, where the big guy's kind of like sick of the main guys like shit, and so Sean Spears is out there and basically said MJF
Who
wants
is
you
the
to
worst?
go
Oh,
get him this,
God.
go get him.
He sucks.
Who's Sean Spears?
Yeah, he sucks.
The chairman.
Dude, he is just like, when he comes out, I'm like,
I like
what
his
is
role.
this?
I don't know. There's something about him.
Yeah, but whenever Wardlow does turn on MJF, that's gonna be a huge pop.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping
sure.
what it's leading towards is I hope Wardlow kills Sean Spears first. That's what I want. Is him to powerbomb Sean Spears 20 times.
But they've been kind of like little by little over the years. I feel like been showing the disrespect from MJF to Wardlow, and Wardlow slowly getting kind of sick of being told what to do all the time. So it's kind of obvious now that's where it's headed. He's eventually gonna turn on him. It'll be a good way to get Wardlow over too. Like I said, like when Batista went from being a heel part of Evolution and then turned on Triple H, he became the biggest babyface in the entire company.
Yeah.
And then went on to win the Rumble, and then, well, that's how it started. He won the Rumble and then chose to go against Hunter.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting once that comes to fruition. After that, we had a video package for Ty Conti and Penelope Ford, who were having a match at this upcoming Rampage. So I guess she's still feuding with the Bunny and Penelope Ford and all that, but
the never-ending feud.
After that, we had a really weird. Yeah. Well, that's AEW does have some never-ending feuds. I still don't believe they're actually done with Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy. I need more time away from it to believe it.
They didn't know the year to build it.
I won't say who, but there's another podcast host who said something about Orange Cassidy that made me laugh. Where he was like, "Tell a different joke." He's like, "You've been saying the same joke for 3 years." My God.
So there was a weird promo. I'm kind of confused about it, but it was Malachi Black's like promo video. He's like in a house. I mean, it's all about the House of Black stuff, but I don't know what he was. He's cryptic. All right, we all know that. So I guess we'll just have to see where that's going. If you guys do remember his video package at all.
Yeah, it's Brody King, right?
Is that what
From
it
Ring
is?
of Honor? He said the house is that something about you're not a king anymore, or you're not only a king anymore, or something like that.
Oh, so he's trying to have like a stable now.
Yeah, and they were tag team in Ring of Honor, I think, or somewhere around there.
Oh, okay. So you're the indie wrestling guy. You picked up on that. But wasn't he signed now?
Yeah, I mean after Dynamite, everyone started saying that he's officially signed now. They just
Brody
haven't
King,
announced
right?
it. Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense though.
Yeah.
So after that we had Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb, which talk about never-ending feuds. We have seen this before, but I thought it was a good match. Hikaru Shida was your winner in the end.
Andy,
what did you think of the match?
Other listeners might be like, "Duh, who didn't know that?" But you're the one that pointed out to me that Serena Deeb is the girl from the Straight Edge Society who was bald, and I didn't even realize. I was like, "Oh my God,
I saw a picture,
Yeah.
and I had no idea.
I knew her name was Serena, so I don't even know why I took
like, I don't
know why I didn't put that together. I knew her name, and like it's just she looks so different.
Oh, that was her name in the Straight Edge Society?
No, I just knew
I was
her.
gonna say, it's hard to tell when a person's bald.
Right. No, because there's in the old CM Punk Blu-ray that they put out, the best in the world years ago. He was talking about Gallows, and I remember he said, and Serena did such a good job, and that always I don't know. I can remember people's names. It's like a barber thing, I guess. But so I knew that, but it was just weird. I was just like, oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I saw that picture. I was just like, oh, wouldn't you know? So yeah, just it's hard to recognize people when they're bald, compared to compared to now. After that match, your winner was Hikaru Shida. It was a good match. After that, though, we had a backstage segment with the Varsity Blondes, and I feel bad. I don't know the other half of their team. That guy.
That guy.
I know Brian Pillman Jr.
The one that's not Pillman Jr. The other one.
Yeah. So not
The
not
one that's
Pillman
not
Jr.
Brian Pillman.
basically is all fired up. He's all fired up because Malachi Black sprayed the mist in Julia Hart's face super randomly last week, almost for no reason. And so he pretty much says, if you're not gonna go out there and stick up for her, then I am. So he challenges Malachi Black to a match. I want to say next week. Because it wasn't for this upcoming. It wasn't for this upcoming Rampage. I know that.
Yeah, no, it's next week. Yeah.
Okay. So.
It better be a short match.
Yeah. Good luck to you, sir. You were about to get destroyed. After that, we had a video package where Eddie Kingston. I'm sorry, I don't exactly remember what he talked about, but I feel like he was. I know it had something to do with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. I don't remember though if he was setting up a match.
Yeah, he set that the Rampage match between it was him.
It's
Lucha
like a
Brothers.
10-man, right?
Yeah.
Him,
and
Lucha
Ortiz.
Brothers, and Proud
Ortiz
and
and
Powerful
Santana. Yeah.
against the Acclaimed and 2.0.
And Daniel, yeah, I guess Daniel Garcia is part
Yeah,
of it.
2.0 and Daniel Garcia is what I say.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be wrestling SpongeBob SquarePants.
It was Jericho's worst material he's ever done.
So then this brought us to our main event. MJF comes out first. He gets on the mic, basically saying how CM Punk, all he could talk about was how bad the hockey team was in Long Island, and he just kept making the same joke.
He's like, your local sport team sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, that's all you got.
Yeah, so he's trashing on Punk's promo from last week in Long Island. But this led, so our main event was MJF versus Dante Martin. It was the Dynamite Ring Finals. Your winner was MJF. I thought the match made Dante Martin look really good, though he had a big botched shooting star to the outside of the ring, which he almost died.
I'm glad MJF, like, what, he catch his leg or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't hit fully. Let's just say that. Yeah, half of his body was past MJF's body.
Yeah, this is kind of the style that I think, Tim, you were saying before, that he looks really good in the ring, but it just looks too, I don't know, choreographed or something, not as, like, wrestling-wise.
So
he does a lot of spots.
there was one thing, and I believe that even Ricochet and Will Ospreay, who were like, in my head, of this particular style that we're talking about, like the Dante and Martin style, I think that they are like the innovators of that style. And even they have said, no, they're not harsh. They watch some stuff of people doing these kinds of like gymnastic wrestling things, and they'll say, like, instead of being mean, they'll say, certain things come with time, and like you guys will get better. But what they're saying is, even Ricochet was like, you can do the moves, like anybody can, like, not anybody, but we can all do the moves. It's the stuff in between. It's
I certainly can't do the move.
I can't do the moves, but it's the stuff in between that really makes the difference. Some of the physicality, and Dante just needs to make it a little bit more look like a fight rather than just like a dance. Because what he can do is awesome. Like, I'm like, holy crap, like that's incredible. But if he just looked like it was like I don't know, it almost makes it look too easy. Like it's like so easy looking that you're just like, okay, like, I don't really know how to react. Like when you crash and burn on top of the guy instead of like landing perfectly on your feet, I sometimes think it just like has like a different effect. Like Darby throws himself around, but he just seems like he's just destroying himself and other people. Like Darby's like very
pure
aggressive.
chaos.
Yeah.
What did MJF say on the mic before Dante came out? He's like, Dante, I know you have the personality of like a dumpster fire. I'm sorry, it just popped into my head.
Just roasted his very existence.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
He's like, you got all the talent in the world, but the personality of
Yeah.
basically garbage.
Well, also, I didn't even like Dante Martin is back with Leo Rush. Like they barely explained that.
Pointless. The whole thing was pointless.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just because now it seems like maybe Dante is gonna be feuding with someone, maybe Ricky Starks from Team Taz. Maybe it was a way to do that.
Which I was like, what's the point in doing that? Or joining Team Taz anyways? Because you could just feuded with him to begin with.
Yeah. I don't know. And now that Dante Martin did that, it's like you haven't seen Leo Rush really for 2 weeks.
It's weird.
But so correct me if I'm wrong, but Ricky Starks came out and kind of distracted, and then MJF was able to get the win because of Ricky Starks.
Yep.
Is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
So your winner, and I saw he's now a 3-time Dynamite Ring champion.
Third year.
Still, I think he's still undefeated in singles matches. I don't know if he's ever been pinned clean, or he's never lost clean. Basically.
MJF.
Yeah, he's lost for other
Jericho.
reasons, but I don't think he's ever lost cleanly in the ring in the singles match.
Yeah.
Like there's either a distraction from someone or something like that.
I think so.
But that wrapped up Winter is Coming.
It looks
That was a good show.
Punk. Right?
Did they end it with Did he run out there?
Yeah.
He did?
No? I thought he did.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot. I was like, that set up the next week. Yeah, because he set up
He
the
didn't
next
get on the
week
mic though or anything.
show.
He just, I think he was just trying to help out.
No,
No,
it
is
did
that
because
is
I
that the one where he
remember,
came out in the
FTR
shirt?
Came down.
In the shirt?
Yeah. And
Okay.
the pro-choice shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have turned it off too early,
Like-
guys.
Yeah, well, that's the part
like a
where
boss.
they shut off the lights after it was FTR and MJF, and they were attacking Dante Martin.
Okay, I do
And they
remember
cut
the
off
lights being turned
and
off.
I was
then.
like, here's some debut, and then it was Sting and Darby, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. I do
Yeah,
remember
I
that.
thought the same thing. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It's Sting.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was like Malachi Black. I was like, why is he coming now?
Yeah, but then Punk set up the 6-man tag for next week.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I do remember that now that you said that. But yeah, so that was Winter is Coming.
This is just a side note. I don't know what he said, but Taz made me laugh at one point on commentary because Excalibur said something, and Taz just real quick was like, "Shut up, Excalibur." It just made me crack up because
Dude, Taz is the best.
it was just like real quick, like, and it just like made me crack up.
I feel like Taz still does commentary like he's doing on Dark right now, but then Excalibur tries to do it like he's on Dynamite, where he
Right.
doesn't play along, and then Taz just gets annoyed at him.
Oh, is that it? That's the end of the show? I was having such a good time, I didn't even realize that
That's
was...
it.
Yeah, you should leave that in.
I finished Winter is Coming.
At least a piece of me saying that. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me do a closeout here. I was really into our conversation. Okay. Well, guys, that wraps up Winter is Coming. That also wraps up the show. Thanks again for listening. Before we roll out today, please go on Twitter and Instagram and follow us at the PW Fan, and you can always follow Andy's Funko Pop Collection page on Instagram at the 410 Fan Bros. Just wanted to give a little shout out to a follower on Instagram named Suki and Pops. They been following us for a while, and they always are very supportive of what we do, so I think that's cool. If anybody else wants to reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter, we give you a shout out as well. Thanks again for listening, and join us next week on the PW Fan Podcast, where we talk all things pro wrestling. Bye-bye, everybody.